how renewable hydrogen could put an end to the need of fossil fuels. We're going on a field trip together. We're returning to center school, to science class. Do you recall this? It was a trial we did with salt water, a battery and 2 pencils. Prepare to have your mind blown. The response you saw then is a vital aspect for handling environmental change. Indeed, at 14 years of age, we definitely knew. Also, today, we possess the ability to supplant non-renewable energy sources with green hydrogen. We should stroll through this. The investigation I'm suggesting is called water electrolysis. Furthermore, it is a method for making hydrogen. On the planet, hydrogen is tracked down in the best amounts in water, H2O. Furthermore, when you utilize inexhaustible power to part water into H and O, that is green hydrogen. What's more, the gadget making this response is called an electrolyzer. There are different shades of hydrogen out there, yet they utilize non-renewable energy sources. So we won't discuss those today, they'll just aggravate environment. We are discussing green hydrogen, which is 100% clean. Furthermore, the fastest way to scaling green hydrogen is by efficiently manufacturing electrolyzer. On the whole, for what reason do we want green hydrogen? At the point when we take a gander at our worldwide energy utilization today, just 20% comes as power or electrons. This implies the excess 80% of our reality's energy use is in the types of atoms. And keeping in mind that the world is gaining quick headway in greening our power, we want to look towards our particles also. Contemplate your industry, transport, warming and cooling areas. They're totally controlled by atoms. Also, indeed, this implies generally by petroleum derivatives, coal, oil and gas. Not every industry will be able to be electrified. And here is why. Let's begin with an illustration from the business world. The reaction is produced by molecules, not by electrons. When making steel the old-fashioned technique, iron ore is first mined, followed by coal burning to purge the iron mixture of oxygen. This process is responsible for 7 to 9% of the CO2 emissions in the globe. The molecule needed to start the reaction to burn up the oxygen is provided by coal. That is not something that electrons can do. They can, however, be used to power the machinery that produces green hydrogen. And this pure molecule will start the reaction, draw in oxygen, and just release water. We can therefore get rid of up to 95% of our CO2 emissions by modifying the method. Major European steel producers are currently developing environmentally friendly hydrogen-based steel production methods. That's just one of the countless industrial processes, small and big, that need a molecule. Let's use weight as an additional illustration of why we can't utilize energy for everything. Consider the aviation industry. A battery-powered airplane with 80 passengers. Almost impossible, just to fly the battery would require extra batteries. However, hydrogen aircraft are launching without any emissions. This 20-seater aircraft will begin making commercial flights in 2 years. And the 80-seater will be arriving in 2026. These are just 2 ways in which we can stop depending on fossil fuels. The world is going to green hydrogen since it is successfully coupling those hard-to-decarbonize areas with green power. An electrolyzer associated with sunlight-based and wind power age is changing green electrons into green atoms. Green hydrogen is changing our inexhaustible power into an energy transporter that is incredibly adaptable. What's more, today, this spotless particle is now being utilized in a large number of uses. It tends to be combusted straightforwardly as a fuel and transmits zero fossil fuel byproducts. It's additionally being transformed into hydrogen-determined powers like green-smelling salts, green methanol, which can fuel worldwide delivery. Green hydrogen is being put away across seasons without losing energy, similar to here in the Alps. Furthermore, it can then be utilized in an energy component to make power discharging just water, as in this distant town in Malaysia. One of the most energetically dense molecules, hydrogen has 3 times the mass-based energy of diesel. So you might be thinking, well, why aren't we already using this everywhere? The price of green electricity was the cause prior, therefore. The bottleneck, however, has been removed. What then is the problem? It has to do with how quickly, cheaply, and quickly these environmentally friendly hydrogen generators are produced. Fortunately, efforts are underway to make green hydrogen a reality. Because green hydrogen must be less expensive than fossil fuels if it is to become the future fuel. Electrolyzers will therefore need to be extremely affordable. With this one objective in mind and a sense of urgency in our hearts, we launched Adaptable in 2017. So, in contrast to other businesses in the sector, we decided to use a somewhat different strategy. We looked to economic history for strategies that scaled quickly and sharply lowered costs. And the solution seemed obvious. Making a solution a standardized, mass-produced commodity is necessary if you want to spread it as rapidly as possible around the world. A simple to use and produce a product. So some people think we need bigger machines. However, we think that the electrolyzer ought to be a standardized, mass-produced good. A product that anyone can use to create green hydrogen any place. So let me use an analogy to help you better grasp our strategy. Mainframe computers were regarded as the future of computing up until the 1980s. They were enormous, intricate pieces of machinery that were exclusively intended for commercial use. Then the PC appeared, and initially people laughed and questioned why we would ever need such a small computer. But in the end, it caused an industry disruption. Additionally, blade servers, a PC technology, are used in data centers nowadays. Why? Because the PC evolved into a small, uniform, and widely available product that was inexpensive to produce, simple to construct, and adaptable to a variety of contexts. It's time to use green hydrogen for this. All to this end, Adaptable is planning its electrolyzers as items and not projects. At the core of our electrolyzer is an electrolysis center, creating green hydrogen, and it is the establishment for our items as a whole. Furthermore, we're taking these center stacks and different parts of our electrolyzers into large-scale manufacturing. Thus, as opposed to building bigger electrolyzers, we're building minimal ones that can be joined to accomplish any hydrogen amount required. Also, we accept this is the speediest method for downsizing green hydrogen and driving its cost. The next step is to start producing in large quantities. This is where we are at. We'll be addressing speed, scale, and affordability there since it will be entirely fueled by renewable sources. We can take advantage of significant economies of scale by concentrating on a single core size and lower the cost of green hydrogen. Because making green hydrogen less expensive than fossil fuels is the main goal. Future fuel can be green hydrogen, which is something we can do. It's time to pay attention to the 14-year-olds of today and to our 14-year-old selves. Our generation is in a special position. The next industrial revolution is now necessary. We can develop sustainable energy sources for the world. This is how we end the fossil fuel era.